Okay, welcome to the March 6th Beauty for Ashes Society team call. We have a guest speaker. Taraleigh Davis is not only my success partner and a wonderful human being in general, but she's also the leader and an incredible Star Diamond coach of the Inspire tribe. She had a crazy month last night or last month, and we all kind of lived it with her step by step through the ups and the downs. And that's part of the reason why success partnerships are so very important. But I asked her if she could come and speak to us tonight because she had an amazing story, and I know she has so much to offer. It's my pleasure to introduce Taraleigh Davis. Go ahead and unmute yourself, girl.
My name is, yes, is this working?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm real tech savvy. You guys will see that. And also, it's so funny. I saw the graphic with my picture and I'm like, I'm going to get on this call and they're going to be like, that is not the girl I saw in the graphic. So it's so funny. People are like, oh, I love your profile picture. And I'm like, you just don't understand. That was like a team of people and editing and makeup artists and fake eyelashes and I don't know, like 300 pictures and there were 10 good ones. So anyways, I need to do like a transformation Tuesday, like use that picture and like, this is what I look like in real life. But anyways, my name is Taraleigh Davis. I actually, this week is my 2-year coach anniversary. And so I'm really excited to be sharing with you tonight. I am trying to grow in speaking in front of people. And so I am real comfortable with my team and have gotten comfortable with that. And so this is a stretch for me. But like I said, I'm trying to grow in that area. Just a little bit briefly about me. I started coaching 2 years ago. I have been married for almost 17 years. I have 4 kids ranging from 15 to 5, which that's awesome that that's their ranges because that's really easy to remember when people ask me. And I actually homeschool them. And I also am in school full time. So I love to give tough love, and basically if I can do this, anybody can do this. And I also serve as a deaconess in our church. We went on a church plant about 4 years ago. And so my life is very, very full. And so to think about adding coaching to that was really kind of funny. But in actuality, it actually is the glue that holds all of those things together for me. Being a coach and having to, and all the things that go along with it have really helped me with being better with my time and learning not to procrastinate and using my time wisely, but also just with keeping me on track in my health and fitness journey to where I'm taking care of myself to where I can take care of everybody else around me. And so I got started with coaching by accident. I bought the 21-day fix. It had sold out, and the only way that you could get it was actually as a coach. And so I purchased it and figured, okay, well, at least I have a discount, type thing. And within 2 weeks, I had people like, what are you doing? And just, they wanted to do it with me. And that's just basically how this started. So I am, my goal is to continue and to hopefully match my husband's salary by the end of the year. I think I've grown a little bit slower than maybe other people, but in reality, it's been a huge blessing because I would have to be out of the house 30 to 35 hours a week to bring in what to help supplement our income in the way that I am now. So I am beyond grateful for this opportunity. So enough about that. Basically what happened last month and what I want to talk about today was basically we all go through, and not just in coaching, I mean in real life, you have setbacks. And there are one of two choices that can happen in a setback. Number one, your setback can define you, basically. Or what I'm going to talk about tonight, and hopefully to encourage you, is that it can actually fuel your comeback. It can actually give you fire to just get at it. And so I have slides. Okay. So is this just like when I do a call, basically? I'm going to say share screen. Okay. All right. And I'm also notorious for clicking a slide and like crossing my fingers because I'm really not sure what slide's going to pop up. So you'll see. So, okay, share screen. All right, can everybody see slides? Yes, okay. I'm just gonna leave it like this so that I can actually see what's coming up next. Last month, I actually have hit Success Club every single month that I've been a coach except for December of 2014. And so my big scary goal for 2015 was to hit Success Club 10 every month. And I did that. And then had no problem hitting it in January. And in February, got off to a pretty good start. A couple days, maybe a week into the month, I had Success Club 6. So I was sitting pretty and just kind of plugging along. And all this weird, random stuff started happening. And I'm not going to bore you with the details, especially because Lisa's already heard them. I was just trying to figure out what the heck was happening. So basically between different returns and then just mistakes in the return process on corporate's end, I was at -4 Success Club points the Wednesday before the end of the month. So 29th, 28th, 27th, 26th, the 24th of February, I -4. So the last week of Beachbodies, like waking up Thursday morning, I have basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days to my non-negotiable is Success Club 10. And so basically what happened was in those days, I made it to Success Club 10. And so what I'm sharing with you tonight are some things that that helped me. And honestly, I'm not going to be, this call is not about like, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to invite this many people and you need to do this kind of post. And you need to make sure that you harass your neighbors. And that's not what this is about. This is about the mindset, because it's always going to be something. It may not be Success Club 10. It may be, you're in jeopardy of losing a rank, or in jeopardy of not hitting a goal, or just anything in life. This isn't just about Beachbody coaching. I mean, you guys all know that so much of what we do kind of ties over into our life. So the first point that I want to talk about is no situation is too far gone. And I remember just telling the girls, like, I have never once wanted to give up so bad as I did that week and just quit, just like 100% quit. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, why? And I'm going to explain, how that thought process went. But it was, I had a pity party, like Wednesday night. I was just having a pity party. And I really just wasn't sure. Like, I didn't think I could do it. And so I was having almost like this victim mentality type situation with, in my mind, placing the blame on everybody else but me. And it really wasn't anybody's fault. It just happened. But in situations like that, you can turn your mess into a message. Now, it wasn't like I got on Facebook and announced to the Facebook world that I was at -4, and I don't mean like that. But you don't have to feel like if everything's all over the place, like that can be used. And so when it comes to the victim mentality that I was talking about, those couple of days, dive headfirst into personal development. I was literally every waking moment that I wasn't completely 100% focused on, either reading to my kids or something like that, I was listening to some kind of personal development, whether that be a sermon from a couple weeks ago. I'm reading Daring Greatly by Brene Brown, podcast from National Wake Up Calls, anything and everything, and well-rounded. So it just wasn't just one thing. And I know we hear that so many times, but I literally have had conversations with fellow coaches that when they are struggling in their business, that literally the light switch, it's like that when they make personal development a priority. And honestly, if I was 100% honest with you, and I'm trying to be, I was not like so focused on personal development. I was focused on everything else, but I was trying to fix the situation. I was trying to make things happen. And so over those couple of days, I literally dove headfirst into personal development. And then another thing that is super important, and when I felt like quitting, I had to immerse myself in my non-pageant why. And if you've never written down a non-pageant why, I totally encourage you to do that. We did this on a leadership retreat. And basically, if it doesn't bring you to tears as you're writing it out, it's a pageant why. And so I have like journal pages of my non-pageant why, and it's stained with tears as I was writing it. And so I revisited that, and I really looked at it and was like, yeah, this is super important to me. And then surround yourself with support. So I tried to preface when I was talking to my Success Club partners, like, okay, I'm really trying not to complain, but I'm really struggling. I talked to my husband. He knew exactly what was going on. I reached out to one of my dear friends, actually two of them, and just explained to them where I was at. And that really helped because I felt like I was supported and that I wasn't alone. And I think that that is super important when you are struggling to not feel alone. So don't stay there. Okay. The situation really sucked. It did. And so it was good for me to just kind of work through that, but it was important that I did not stay there. And that leads me to point number 2, act with belief. So, making the mess into a message, the way that I did this in this particular situation is I acted with belief. So when I was inviting people, I was assuming that they were going to say yes. And I wasn't like tiptoeing around how much, a challenge pack cost. I was completely positive. Like, I am hoping that if you looked back on my Facebook, and not that I wasn't trying to be non-transparent, but I do really, especially on my like page, try to, it is a positive and an encouraging space. I don't want to be this Debbie Downer and complaining about everything. I just don't think that, me personally, it's just Facebook isn't a place to complain, really. It's just, I like it because it's supposed to be fun. I want it to be fun and uplifting to others because there is so much of that complaining out there. And so I was enthusiastic. I was leading with passion. I was still trying to help my team. And that was difficult. I'll be honest. It's like, I'm asking you to hit Success Club and I have -2 points. Oh my gosh. Like, what the heck is my problem? And so that was definitely really hard and very humbling. But even when you don't feel it, you have to act with belief because people can pick up on that in a heartbeat. Okay, let me see if I can make this go down so I can see what's next. Okay. See your struggle as an opportunity. And so I began to realize that because I was having to work so hard for this, that when I actually hit that goal, that it was going to be awesome. That it was just, the victory was just going to taste so good. And I want to tell you a real quick story. There's a quote. It says, "What is taken away once is given back twice." And it's a quote by a baseball player for the New York Yankees. He's actually was one of my favorites growing up. His name is Jim Abbott. And he was like, basically like all-star pitcher, incredible, but he was born without a right hand. Okay, so think about that. A pitcher in the major league on the New York Yankees at a time when, okay, so even if you don't know anything about baseball, at a time when they were like literally the best team and he was one of their starters and he doesn't have a right hand. And the reason why he was so successful is that he was brought up by his dad as not ever letting that handicap define who he was. And so he was forced to be creative in how he learned how to pitch, and he was forced to, and that's what I was forced to do. I was forced to do things differently than I would have if I wasn't struggling. I would not have, if I was already had hit Success Club, to be honest, I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't have invited as many people. I wouldn't have reached out to as many people. And so I began to see that having this struggle was actually an opportunity for my business. It was like, oh, here, because I'll get to the rest of that, come back to that. But his struggle became his opportunity. And because he had to work so hard at the mechanics, he became incredible at it. And he, the whole time his dad brought him up, he was brought up with this perspective of gratitude about, I get to do this. I get to play in the major league. And so I realized that I get to do this. I get to coach. I get to help people. I get to wake up and be encouraged by my job. Like, how many people are encouraged by their job? Like, that's crazy. And so it's amazing to see how the whole perspective of seeing this not as, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is still happening, type thing, or I don't know if this is going to work, as really realizing that, number one, it was going to taste sweeter. And number two, I was pushing myself so much further. Number three, I was learning so many things about what worked and what didn't work, and how to really push myself. I actually, in all of this, was in the middle of a pretty big deadline for my thesis. And so it wasn't even like I could just take a whole day to try to make this happen. It literally had to just fit into regular life. Okay, number 4, use adversity to your advantage. And I kind of talked about this already. But when it comes to this, there are 2 types of people. There are people that have a fixed mindset, and then there's people who have a growth mindset, okay? And so as you are thinking about yourself, a person who has a fixed mindset is kind of like, oh, we are who we are. Yeah, shoot, I'm going to miss it this month. Crap, I'm at -4. Why even bother? I mean, -4. I can push and push and push, and hopefully I'll get to 0. Well, what is that going to do me? Good, none at all. So I might as well just give up. A fixed mindset are people who don't like challenges, who do give up, who actually avoid challenges. Now, a growth mindset, where they actually believe that failure is an opportunity to grow. So I was literally in the process of failing. Like, my goals, my goal this year is to continue 10 so that I can be an all-star legend. And so I'm literally watching myself fail and thinking there's nothing I can do about it. But realizing as I was walking through the process that it was an opportunity for me to grow as a person and as a coach. And then it says effort is a path to mastery. And I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly. The effort that I was having to put in was helping me become a better coach, become a better communicator, become a better inviter, become a better leader for my team, where I'm able to, even though, like, we talk about, you need to, lead from the front. Well, I couldn't lead from the front, but I still had to lead. I still wanted to help these people hit Success Club, and, walking through conversations about, okay, well, this person said this, I don't really know what to say. I still had to do all that. And so you can be fixed or you can grow. And adversity basically tells you what you're made of. And that is something that I'm grateful for, because now I can look back at this situation and be like, yep, I know what I'm made of. I'm a growth mindset, and I can use whatever comes my way to my advantage. And I can use my struggle and I can make it an opportunity instead of letting it define me or letting it beat me or anything like that. Okay. think this is one of my last points. Yes. Focus on what you can control. And there were many things that were outside of my control. There were only so many emails that I could send in a day. There's only so much time in the day. I couldn't control what was happening behind the scenes in the computers in Beachbody corporate land. And so, the night that I was really struggling, I just had to ask myself the question is, what is being productive? Is complaining about this actually being productive? No. Can I control whether or not I'm complaining? Yes. And so I started to focus on what I could control, and kind of going back to the 3 things that I was talking about. I can control how much personal development I was doing. I could control focusing on my why. I could control celebrating every teeny tiny success. So I remember, I think maybe Friday, I'd gotten back to 0, and I was like, yes, I am at Success Club 0. I mean, whenever are you celebrating that? On the last 4 days of the month? Never. But I was. Every single thing, okay, I'm signing up a coach. Okay, somebody said they were interested. Oh, I got an application. I'm literally in my mind, and out loud too a lot of the times. I mean, I was telling my kids, guess what? I'm at Success Club 2. And they were like, oh, that's great, Mom. That's great. And so there's this quote by Will Smith. I'm sure you guys have heard it. And so that was like my mantra. I will not be out hustled. Okay, fine. Whatever cards are stacked against me, whatever. But I know that for myself, I am not going to be out hustled. And it says, he's talking about running on a treadmill, which is really funny to me, but whatever. It says, you're not going to outwork me. It's such a simple, basic concept. The guy who's willing to hustle the most is going to be the guy that just gets that loose ball. The majority of people who aren't getting the places they want or aren't achieving the things that they want in this business is strictly based on hustle. It's strictly based on being outworked. It's strictly based on missing crucial opportunities. I say it all the time. If you stay ready, you ain't gonna get ready. And so that was my mindset of okay, I'm not going to be out hustled. I think I remember sending Snapchats, getting up at the crack of dawn being okay, an elite coach has already sent out 5 invitations and I'm just getting started. And just really that mindset of okay, I'm going to control what I can control. And then I could say everything that I wanted to, but I had to align my activities to what my goal was. I couldn't just say, oh man, I really, really still want to hit Success Club. I still want to hit it. Oh man, I hope I hit it. No, I had to align what I was doing. And it became not like this all-encompassing, but almost like an extension of who I was. Because obviously, like I said before, it wasn't like I could just take a whole day and try to make this happen. It had to fit into what, it fit into my life. It had to fit in that, we had company on Thursday night, so I couldn't work. We had plans as a family all day Saturday. We had a big thing on Sunday, at church to where I had to come home and take a nap. So it was just this whole thing of I had to do those type of things. And so I hope that you're encouraged with the fact that no matter what it is, that you can use these, you can use your adversity as an opportunity and to your advantage. When you work super hard, and that's and we've all gone through this, this, the harder you work for something, the sweeter the victory. And so you better believe, and it was so funny, on Monday, I didn't hit it until Monday afternoon, the last day. And it was when they were launching early the 22-minute hardcore. So the stupid website was wigging out, and I'm great. So I'm going to be up until midnight, texting people, whatever, trying to make it, and they're not going to be able to get on the website to order. This is crazy. So I log into my back office, and there was the last order that I needed, and I didn't even have to worry about it. But you better believe I celebrated that night because I worked so hard for it. And honestly, it's not like if I could go back, I wish that would happen again. I don't know if I would say that, but if I could go back and like look at just, it's not as exciting if you, now it's a great goal to have. I'll be honest. My goal is to hit it by the 15th. Okay. And then that when the 15th of the month, I act like that's the end of the month, literally. But to be honest, there was a big difference to me in my heart when I hit it in February than when I had hit it by January 10th. You know, it was just so different. And so that's another thing of like realizing as you're walking through something, realize that the more difficult something is, the more joyful it's going to be when you get past it. So that's what I've got. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything like, oh, I can do stop share. There we go. Oh, look, I didn't make anything crash.
Yes. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Taraleigh. Man, I got like a page full of notes. I'm not even kidding. It's so much good information on there. And just watching you walk through it, like we were all celebrating with her. Every time she would get a point, she's like, I'm at two, guys. We would all like cheer and hooray and all of that stuff. It was amazing to watch. And it kind of felt like you were rooting for the underdog, and then the underdog won. Like she beat these incredible odds this last month, and it was truly amazing. So a couple things you said that I wanted to kind of reiterate and talk about a little bit. If you guys have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat or write them down, get them ready, so you can unmute yourselves and ask Taraleigh if she's got a couple minutes to stick around. But one thing that she said was, you know, I was leading my team and I'm the last couple days and I'm at, you know, -2 and I'm asking them to hit Success Club. Like I'm saying, okay, guys, are you there? And I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I don't even know if I'm going to hit it. I've totally been there. Like I've been in that same boat and it's not a fun place to be. We on our team lead with integrity and we believe in leading from the front. And so many times we think that that means that we have to have already attained the goal to be able to teach and lead and push someone else. But it's so not true. It kind of goes back to the core of coaching. How many times have we told people that you don't have to be at your goal weight to help coach other people? You don't have to be at your goals to help push and mentor your coaches. You don't have to be a 10-star diamond coach to start mentoring your coaches. You start where you're at and you push them because you know it's true. The other thing that she said when she was talking about that, I thought about it and I was like, you've got to remove yourself from the situation. When the situation looks absolutely insane, it's easy for us to say, you know, like, what am I doing? I'm not even there yet. Like we're putting ourselves in the situation. But in all honesty, like Taraleigh's a rock star coach. She has hit Success Club 10 many, 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 many times in the past. She knows it's possible. It just seems impossible at the moment because of all of this crazy situation. However, sometimes when we're going through that struggle, we've got to remove ourselves from the situation. She's not a bad coach. She's not, you know, failing people. She's not failing her team. I'm speaking from, these are thoughts that go through my mind when I'm not hitting my goals or I feel like I'm failing. I'm in the process of failing, like she was talking about. You got to remove yourself from the situation. Like that situation does not define you. That situation does not define how good of a coach you are or how good of a mentor you are or how good of a fill in the blank. This could apply to your whole life. A mom you are, you know, if your kid comes home and they were punished at the principal's office for one thing or another, that doesn't define you as a parent. That means that your child made a bad decision. Like, but that doesn't make you a bad parent. Does that make sense? Like, just removing yourself from the situation. And I thought all of it was really good. I seriously wrote a whole page of notes. I'm stealing. But Taraleigh, I wanted to ask you a couple questions. One is kind of a nuts and bolts question. I don't know if you even know the answer to it, but how many invites did you send out in that last week?
Well, real quick, first, one thing that I forgot to say is that I ended up having the biggest week ever since coaching that week, from Thursday to Thursday to Wednesday. And so the triumph in that was, it wasn't just Success Club. Then I had a great launch day, and I'm already at 4 this month. So it kind of just spilled over. I would say, I mean, I don't know a number, but what I did was I literally went through and responded to every open-ended conversation that I probably had in the past 9 months, and followed up with people. And I mean, if you look back at my page, it wasn't like I was inviting, it wasn't like I was posting 3 times a day, join my challenge group.
Right.
I had just had a lot of people with, who had said not right now or whatever. And there were different things that I was able to say to open the conversation back up. And so I would say, we have a new challenge group app, so you don't have to be on Facebook. You want to try it with me, And so there were just different things like that. Like, okay, the 21-day fix is getting ready to go off sale. And I know I shared with you guys, one other thing that I forgot to do was, in the midst of this, one of my customers wanted to buy a PIO challenge pack. And I heard over the weekend that it was going to be on sale starting March 1st. And so I was at 6, I think, at that point, and I had a decision to make of, do I pretend like I don't know this information because I need the points? Or do I, let her know? And so, I mean, obviously to lead with integrity and just what we all are all about, I just said, hey, just, if you're not in a rush on March 1st, it's going to be $20 cheaper, And it was so funny because I literally I'm not kidding you, 30 minutes, I got a text from somebody that I had been talking to since I started coaching, a dear friend of mine. Hey, how much is a 21-day fix? I'm ready. And ordered within 30 minutes. So it was just crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the thing with the inviting is I invited like 3 different ways. And so I was talking about the challenge group app. I was talking about the 21-day fix being on sale. And I was talking about the last day, the 22-minute hardcore challenge, And so I was kind of coming at it from not necessarily like the same person per se,
right.
But whatever the situation was, I didn't just send out this blanket, hey, I know we talked about this. Where are you at? It wasn't this, it was literally, trying different things and in a way and just figuring out what worked. And so even now coming into this month, I kind of see different things that worked that I wouldn't have seen if I had not been doing that. But I would say, oh gosh, maybe 25 people a day at least. It was a lot.
That's great. That's incredible. I mean, like, that shows you that the turnaround to get from -4 to 10, that means that she would have had to sell at least 7 challenge packs during that time. So 25 a day for 5 days or so before the end of the month?
I did get 4 points back.
Okay.
From corporate, that because I had a return and they returned it 3 times.
Right. I remember it was something like some kind of crazy weird thing.
It was some crazy glitch, but they weren't sure if they were going to get it fixed in time. It was bizarre. But anyways, so I did get that back. So yeah, I had to go. I was at 6, 4, 0, and then I went from 0 to 10. Basically, is what I had to do.
Right.
But I'd already. So I think, I mean, when I counted it up, like going back, I think I had sold like 8 or 9 challenge packs, which is just crazy.
In 1 month.
Yeah. Well, and it was like they had glitched at the end of the month, like stuff from that had happened at the end of January, and I had like 15 points in January. So I was like, can you just take them from January? This happened in January, And so it was crazy. It was just crazy.
It was insane. And the thing is that like Beachbody still took care of her. It just took a while to get around, but you never want to rely on those situations. Like, make it happen for what you can do, because you never want to rely on those situations. The other thing is that, like, what I do, because I was not in the same situation. I was at SC4 on Thursday morning with only a few days left, and I was desperately trying to hit 10, and within like 24 hours I hit 10. But I was like crazy stressing out. We were getting ready to come to Oklahoma. This is not my house. This is my in-laws' house. So we were coming to Oklahoma, and I was getting all of us ready to be gone for a month, plus Josh and I to be ready for the cruise, plus the boys, while we were gone, having all their stuff together. So like crazy. I mean, you can imagine leaving your house for a whole month, like the amount of stuff you have to take. So I was trying to do all of this at the same time, and I was really, really incredibly stressed. Josh was also working because it was the last few days that he could work as a sub before we left, and didn't have a paycheck coming in. And so I took one night, I don't remember when it was, but I remember telling my success partners, because I had just heard no and no and no and no and no and no and lots of no's. It was because I was inviting more. And I knew that in my head, but sometimes there's a head-heart disconnection, right? Like, where even though you know it in your head because you've heard it from personal development a million times, it doesn't really settle in your heart, and those no's start to get to you, especially for some of the reasons that I was getting. And I just felt really, really down. I had a tough month, and I was only at 4, and I was stressing out. And finally I was like, I'm taking the night off. Like, I feel crazy because if I don't hit my goal come the 1st of March, I'm going to be really upset, and I'm going to look back at this night and be like, I shouldn't have taken that night off. That's why I didn't hit my goals. Like, that's what I'm going to do in my brain, being honest. Right. However, I took the night off. Josh and I don't know, went and ran errands with the family, and just, I don't know, had some together, like, time away from the computer, away from my phone, and prayed about it. The next morning, Josh prayed over the business with me, and within 24 hours, they all came in. And I don't think it has anything to do with like some magic thing, like you pray over your business and all of a sudden something's going to happen. However, I do believe in the power of prayer, and I do believe that God favors those who have put in the effort and the work. It's kind of a biblical principle that you reap what you sow. Like, you reap into the harvest, and then you'll be able to come back and harvest it later. We don't know when, though, right? So constantly sowing those seeds. Which we've talked about many times, at least my team, on previous calls. So it's kind of a biblical principle there. But for me, it was just taking a step back, refocusing. Like Taraleigh said, you get to this pity party mindset. And I did lots of personal development. I stepped back from the business just for a few hours. Like, we're not taking something crazy, just for a few hours to get my mind right. So I'm not coming at people with, like, they could probably hear like the desperation in my typing somehow. But I'm not coming at them like that. And I remember to just put them first, just like Taraleigh said. Like, when somebody wanted PIO, I had 2 people that wanted PIO, and I was like, well, on the 1st, it's your lucky day because it's going to be on sale. And so I let them know, because I just want to believe that, like, if you treat people like you want to be treated, you're going to earn that trust, and it's going to benefit you much more in the long run. Okay, so one more question. I don't think anybody chatted or added any questions in the bottom, but I know a lot of my team, there's still a lot of them. We have a bunch of new people as well, but a lot of people don't have success partners yet. What is a benefit to success partners, and what kind of things do you talk to them about? Don't be too specific.
That's hilarious that you're even asking that. Well, a success partner you can have, and actually, I kind of have changed my thought process on this. I used to think that you needed to have one success partner. I recommend a group, a small group. I think there's a lot of reasons. I won't take all the time, but to where, 3 to 4 to 5-ish, because if you have just 2, it can kind of, it just sometimes doesn't work out as well. But the benefit is it's a safe place, number one. Number two, at first, it's very much like, okay, what are your goals for this month? And, what are you doing to reverse engineer your goals? And that's how it starts out.
Mm-hmm.
But to be 100% honest, it at least in my, actually in a lot of people that I know, not just my success partner group, you form a bond and a friendship throughout that to where you are literally talking about everything. And so like we're all going on the cruise. And so it's a constant, what do you think about this outfit type thing? So it's really, really a lot of fun. But I will say that there's an understanding about so much that you don't have to build bridges. And they understand exactly what you're going through. Whereas it's not that I didn't talk to friends that weren't Beachbody coaches. But like in the heat of the moment, when things are really busy, you can just be like, hey, can you, pray for me because I am really struggling. I was actually sharing with them the other day how I was kind of apprehensive about, not about going on the cruise, but just all of a sudden really, what's the word? What is it? All of a sudden real like worried about what I looked like out of the blue. And that's something that I shared with them, and they helped encourage me. So it's a safe place. It's a place for encouragement. It's a place that, honestly, that pushes you. There's a level of like camaraderie, and but there's also a little bit of a competition in a good way to where they push you to be better. Not necessarily like, okay, well, who got the most? I don't know. Like I couldn't tell you who in our group had the most points. It's not like that competition. It's competition of pushing you to be a better coach and not allowing you to be lazy, and almost like calling you out in a good way of becoming a better coach. And so I'm so blessed to have gotten into a group that has clicked, and we've added, and people have, I think one person isn't really a coach anymore, but that's it. And so it's really fun to, I think it's important to kind of have similar goals is important. Why are you laughing?
Sorry, my son, I hope you guys can't hear him. He's talking about fart guns. So.
Oh gosh. Similar goals. You don't have to be, we're all different seasons of life. So, not all of us have children. I think I'm the only one that homeschools. Some of us work full-time outside the home. Some of us are full-time Beachbody coaches. So it's not even like you feel like I need to find somebody who's exactly like me. You do need to find somebody who if you are trying to, become a 5-star by the end of the year, you don't want to be a success partner with somebody who is content to be a hobby coach. That's not going to really serve you. So you need to find people who are like-minded in the sense of the business, and you just got to try it out. Like sometimes it doesn't work out and it's no big deal, and it doesn't need to be like, don't be offended or anything, but you'll find it and it clicks. And sometimes it's like that initial, because I'm like, I'm fine on social media and stuff like that, but making friends and being open is a little bit more challenging for me. And so it was work at first. And, even though we are so different, they really become some of my closest friends.
So true. Oh my gosh, I resonate with all of that. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? Josh wants to know what he should wear for the 70s party. Anyone else?
I just because Tara's my bae, really. I would just say from the call, I think it's fabulous all that she's talking about. And I think what's awesome is because I know who Tara is and how she runs her business. When she's talking about sales, when she's talking about Set Club, when she's talking about, hitting 10. And I think the great thing is I know she is actually talking about changing people's lives and giving them tools that they need to hit their own goals. And I would just say, for anybody who's new on the call or whatever, everything she's saying comes from a heart of wanting to see people succeed and wanting to see change in them. And I think that is so great because, I think she's uber sensitive to trying not to make people feel like a sale. And I think for all of us coaches, as we reach out to people, I think that's something to remember. We're trying to hit set club, we're trying to gain these points, but really what we're doing is leading people to change for the better and giving them the tools that they, need and have asked for. So thank you, Tara. I adore you. That's it.
So sweet. Yeah, it's true. And that's exactly why I loved when she said that when she reached back out to people, that she didn't use like one specific script and then just copy paste. Like, no, she took the time to look back and see what their objections were, see what would work for them best that she could offer them maybe a better value or a better price on. And I love that she said that. One thing I did want to say is while Taraleigh was talking about success partners and the healthy competition that we have, more because I look at Taraleigh and I'm like, well, I'm just like Taraleigh. We started around the same time. Like, why can't I do that too when she hits a goal? It's kind of like a challenge group for your business. Like, we're all there to support each other. It's kind of on crack because we talk about a lot of things that I would never talk about in a challenge group, but, we're all there to help support each other in our business. We all get we have similar goals that we're all reaching and pushing ourselves to. And so love that. Yeah, definitely got to come from a heart of caring for others. It's paramount. Any other questions before we hop off? No? Okay, I couldn't tell if Rachel had a question. She was leaning forward. Okay, Taraleigh, thank you so much. I so appreciate this. I recorded the call, and so I will be posting the recording probably tomorrow or the next day, so you can also put it in your team archives if you would like. I appreciate you hopping on the call and sharing with us. It was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I appreciate and love you so much.